Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Chalkboard Chats. My name is Henry. I'm a life coach for teachers and I'm a part-time English teacher. And on this channel, we talk all things teaching and everything in support of teachers. And as the title says, today I have for you 10 tips in 10 minutes to make teaching easier, to make your life easier. Tip number one, like your reasons for having this job. And the only person who has to like it, has to approve of it, is you. Nobody else needs to know. Nobody else needs to like it. Nobody else needs to approve of it. You have a job for the reasons that you have decided. And the only thing that I would suggest is you like your reasons. Now, whether that is to pay the bills, whether that is because you love to teach, whether that is because you love being a teacher, it doesn't matter. You don't need any other reasons for having this job. It doesn't need to be very altruistic. It doesn't need to be that you're going to save the world. If you want to have a job that pays the bills and you like your reasons for it, that's all you need. Then, tip number two, you don't have to like your students. I have walked into classrooms where I looked at the students and I thought, there are so many of you that I really don't like. And then there were a couple that I really, really enjoyed. That also means that you don't have to like it. All that you're hired to do is to teach. So you teach the crap out of that topic and they get to be the little humans that they are. Tip number three, you don't have to like anyone. You don't have to like your colleagues. You don't have to like management. You certainly don't have to like any of the parents. And the more freedom you give yourself to dislike everybody, the easier it gets. Now, I'm not saying that you should be all poo-poo and negative about it, but when we get upset that people don't treat us right or that they don't respect us correctly or that their, behavior is awful towards us, we get in trouble because we are constantly being, we constantly have this kind of behavior around us. And the more I let other people just be, and the more I give myself space to dislike it, the easier your life is. And the more fun it is when you actually like people, when you're actually having a wonderful conversation. When some of the students, you have like a great conversation, I'm like, man, you guys are awesome. The next tip, teach without expecting students to learn. This is something that I think we're getting a little bit mixed up in education. Sometimes we're being treated as if just the sheer presence of a teacher and a student in the classroom is like all you need for all the magic to happen. I'm like, did we all forget how this works? Just because I teach doesn't mean that the student learns. So, my responsibility as a teacher is to teach the crap out of a topic. I will squeeze everything out. Whether or not a student is there to soak it all up, whether or not a student pays attention to learn, whether or not they do take the effort to actually absorb what I'm teaching them, that's up to them. That isn't in my hands. That isn't in my control. Therefore, I let it go. Tip number 5. Do your work well, but let everybody else have their own opinion about how you do it. So you focus on your job. You know how to do your job best. You know how to teach. You were taught this, you learned this, you studied this, you practiced this. You're an amazing teacher. But that doesn't mean that everybody else agrees on it. And that is fine. They don't have to. As long as you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, I've done an amazing job, everybody else can take their opinions and shove it somewhere where the sun doesn't shine. The more you focus on what your opinion is on you, the easier it is to deal with people who disagree with that. And they get to disagree. That's their opinion. That is fine. It just means that we don't have to take it on. We don't have to be all riled up about it. And the more we are full of our own opinion about ourselves, the easier it is to let go of other people's disapproval. They can disapprove whatever they want. That is fine. They are entitled of their own opinion. It's just that our opinion of ourselves is more important. Tip number 6. Yes, the system is broken. The more I'm in education, the more fractures I'm seeing. And it is sometimes a very bit like disheartening to see. But on the other side, everybody involved, everybody who makes up education are adults. And we can take responsibility for our own little part. We cannot take full responsibility for the whole system or what the whole system does to the children in it. We can't. We just take responsibility of what our part is, and that is all. We can let go of the rest. Also, at the same time, yes, it is broken, and we took this job. We signed up for it. Tip number 7. No, just because it's broken, you don't have to quit. You can disagree with how the school is run. You can disagree with some of the decisions that the admin and management are making, and you can still do your job. What is important is that you acknowledge that there is some friction, but that is all that you can do, because we cannot change how other people function. We cannot change a whole system in one go. We can just take responsibility and change how we show up, the words that we say, the attitude that we walk into the classroom with, and that is all. Now, just because we have this job doesn't mean that we agree with what the school is doing. We don't agree with what the school is saying, what their decisions are, and that's fine. You don't have to quit your job. Tip number 8, identify the moments you enjoy about work, focus on them, and try to create more of them. There are little aspects, there are moments and situations that you really enjoy. Once you've identified them, once you've realized what those interactions or situations are, the more you focus on them, the more you will start seeing them and experiencing them. Because once you realize that every situation that enlightens you or just makes you super happy, you are part of it. So you can, by just focusing on it and acknowledging it, recreate it more and more often. Tip number 9. Parents are just scared humans. Parents are not given a book on how to parent. There is no right or wrong way. There is just the way that everybody thinks is best. They do so, and that also means that because they're humans, they're going to mess up. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to be mean. They're going to say the wrong things. They're going to blame other people for how they feel. They are just humans. The more we give them that title of imperfect human, the easier it becomes to deal with them when they are, in fact, imperfect. And then, tip number 10, separate teaching from being a teacher. This is something that I have learned in the last year, where I realized that I love teaching. I love the act of teaching. I love instructing somebody with the knowledge that I have. I love to share what I know. But I don't like being a teacher. I don't like being an employee of a school, because I think that so many schools are so bad at being employers. And to separate those two out, to focus on the teaching and not be too upset by how they're running this business, because schools are businesses, the easier it is for me to actually enjoy what I usually so much enjoy. I'm just there for the students. I am focused on the teaching, and I am separating it from being a teacher. And that has changed my teaching career. That was it. Those are the 10 tips that I have for you. I hope you enjoyed them. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.